Hey there, how to think for yourself to supersize your business, of course. How to think for yourself to create the life you want. How to think for yourself to do anything. This is one of my favorite and most commonly used phrases, idioms, sayings. I believe it's a proverb as well. And it's a reminder to myself as much as everyone else that I speak to think for ourselves. Think for oneself, think for ourselves. Now, I had a hard time finding the actual origin of this particular saying or idiom, but there are many, many references to it. One of my favorite quotes with respect to thinking for ourselves is from Coco Chanel, and she says, I'm going to read it exactly, the most courageous act is to think for yourself aloud. And I agree with her. I think, and the meaning, of course, to think for yourself is to form your own opinions. Whatever opinions you hold will be well thought out, well considered, founded in and from a position of thorough investigation, thought, facts versus just, and we get to have our own opinions, but excuse me, if we are just regurgitating or repeating things that we've heard from other people without ever investigating them, that's not thinking for ourselves. That's basically gossip. Repeating things that you hear, whether they're founded in fact or not, is kind of like the telephone game we played as kids. You know, you just pass along a piece of information and it gets totally distorted from the beginning and the end, no matter how many people or hands it goes through. So thinking for ourselves means that we plan, we consider, we think out, we assess, we contemplate, we evaluate, we ponder, we take something into consideration. We actually spend some mental capacity considering the information. We always consider the source. I believe this one probably comes from and is originated from the whole freedom of thought, which we talked about freedom of speech, I think just yesterday. But freedom of thought is kind of an automatic. We are free within our minds to think whatever we want, whatever we choose. No matter what is going on outside of us, we always have the human ability to have freedom of thought, think the thoughts that we want, pull out from our memories, pull out from our subconscious, pull out from our imagination the thoughts that we want to think about. And that makes us extremely powerful, but also extremely vulnerable in that we are easily influenced by other people, by other sources, by other things. I think we've seen a huge case study of that if you step back and watch the media, the television stations and the media on social media. If you sit back and watch that play out, you realize how much of that is designed to manipulate and brainwash people, not and get them to pay attention to certain things, not necessarily exercise their freedom of thought. Think about what's really going on, what it means to them. If you have and are in a situation where I've worked in a lot of corporations. In some of those corporations, I've realized that the leaders in different areas or different departments of them were not necessarily 100% ethical or scrupulous. And I realized that I needed to always do what's right for me, what aligns with my goals and values and objectives in terms of my personal beliefs and standards and expectations, not just go along with the crowd, go along with the program, go along with what is being done, especially if it teeters along the line of whether it's good or evil, acceptable or not, legal or illegal. I mean, there's a lot of gray areas in life and in business and in everything else, and it's up to us to draw our own line in the sand and say, these are the behaviors that I consider acceptable and I will participate in. Those are all above the line. Those below the line, not going to do it. Just say no. And it's up to each of us with our freedom of thought to think for ourselves and choose what those things are for us. It's up to us to know what our priorities are, what it is that we want in our life, and then go out and make those things happen. Same is true of our business. It's up to us to set the guidelines, the structure, the processes and systems for our business, but also allow people within those systems and structures to think for themselves, to continually improve and always be doing what's right in any given situation. Customer service is one of those areas in an organization that I find interacting with other companies as well as from being on the inside extremely frustrating, where people will have a handbook and a guideline. This is the answer. This is the verbiage. Read this script. And that is so frustrating because a lot of times people that are calling in with a customer complaint or a challenge just want their problem solved, or they just want to be heard because something didn't happen the way they expected it to. And that can be a misunderstanding on the customer's part, but a lot of times it's gold mine information for us on the inside of our organization in terms of what people are misinterpreting, what they really want, what problems they really have that we can solve for them. So thinking for ourselves at every level in our organization, I think should be encouraged. It's up to you to decide what the rules are and the regulations and the guidelines and the expectations for your company. But in mine, I expect everybody to be doing the right thing, doing the best they can, continually improving, communicating, etc. And that involves 100% thinking for themselves and questioning, heaven forbid, should I have or ever think that I have the best ideas or the best way of doing pretty much anything. I grew up a long time ago thinking that no matter how good we are or I am at anything, there is always going to be a way to improve that. There's always going to be somebody out there on the planet, 7+ billion people, that is smarter, better, faster, more efficient, more effective, or has a better way of doing anything or everything that I could possibly think of. And if we have that approach, then we're willing and we're open to learn from others. And learning from others, we still have to evaluate that information and say, well, what does that mean to me? How do I apply this to my business and my life? That is, to me, thinking for yourself. Love to know what you think of thinking for oneself or thinking for yourself. Some people, actually a lot of people, are perfectly happy to just go with the flow of the program, whatever program they happen to be in, and not think for themselves. But I think one of our true personal freedoms and one of the things that makes human beings amazing is that we do have the cognitive ability and the option and the possibility of thinking for ourselves and critically thinking and analyzing situations and things to form our opinions, form our thoughts, form our beliefs. We can actually control our beliefs. All right, have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business to supersize it as well as your life? Have a great day.